I guess this begins our journey on a houseboat. We're here on the side of the road. This is where we were told to meet. And let's see if we can figure out where the houseboat is. It's an aircon? Yeah. Shower? Yeah. Just now when we were getting on the boat, some man with an umbrella met us and walked us about a kilometer to the original boat we booked, which is not cheap, I'll tell you. He offered for 2,000 more rupees a private boat. He said the reason that he's offering us the private boat is because the boat will be more clean, and our food, which has long been submitted and approved, will be not so difficult. So kind of leveraging like our food and our comfort of cleanliness to get us to pay an extra 2,000 to go on a private boat, which we haven't seen, isn't nearby here, and would be another 1.5 kilometer walk with our heavy bags to go see. So the way he described it didn't really instill confidence, and yeah, it kind of was a bit strange overall. Even the way here, the tuk-tuk driver quoted us 25 because it was only 1 kilometer away. And then he basically just took my 100 because I didn't have anything smaller and tried to drive off, threw me a crumpled 20, and then actually did drive off. So a little bit of a more expensive and a little bit more of a hustle type of state so far. Lots of people we've met here have been totally awesome. We're not saying anything about every single person here, but just in the tourism infrastructure, beware and be firm, and make sure everything is reiterated to you and that what you've requested is actually provided. P.S. the boat's leaving an hour to 2 hours later than we were told, so we're just kind of standing out here in the sun. But they allowed us very graciously to put our bags on the boat, so not the best start as far as a customer service experience goes, but not horrible yet either. So we'll see how the food is, we'll see how the sights are and how the accommodations are. We saw the room already, which we showed you, so that seems fine enough. Pretty expensive. That price that we're paying is 13,000 rupees for one night, which is about $200. A little over $200 for a one-day cruise. Boats everywhere are expensive, and this will still be an excellent way to spend New Year's. I'm not too concerned about that. We'll make the best of it because it's less than 24 hours on the actual boat anyway. So here it is, 200 bucks for 20 hours on a houseboat in Kerala backwaters. Here we go. I think it's, oh, Fleming. Boat is called Fleming?
Yeah, from Fleming.
Fleming. Yeah, that's me. This is the view out our window on the Fleming. That's usually what I do when I have a cold, but today I'm on a boat. We are in the Alleppey backwaters, brackish waters between the sea and the land. The famous Alleppey backwaters, where houseboating, as you can see everywhere, they're everywhere. Houseboating, very, very popular here. So, happy belated New Year's. I guess we went out for about 25 minutes and now we're right back to where we left from. Let's see why. But first, let's show you the boat. it's hot up here, and the ceilings are quite low. Well, probably about a little tiny bit less than 6 feet. This is it. So here we are, coming right back to where we were. Well, you've just seen the whole boat, essentially. It's got a, I was expecting an upper outside deck. Is that here? This is it? Oh. All right, well, Happy New Year, bitch. Looks like maybe we forgot somebody or they came late, so that's cool. Very hot up here, holy cow. And we're walking back around now. Personal to my friend Hao in Vietnam. Water hyacinth! That's what that is, water hyacinth. That's edible, although I doubt it's edible from here. Unless you cooked it and had resistance to petroleum and heavy metal products. But yeah, water hyacinth. Had that a lot in Vietnam. I actually haven't seen people eating it here, really. But anyway, come on the boat and I'll show you the ropes. The ropes? Jesus Christ.
It's like a guest father. Yeah. He's not really like they are take them out somewhere. Do you have siblings? I have a sister. She's in Lexington. It's next to Switzerland. Yeah. She works in She was in China for 10 years. And then she's also an engineer, but she did I told you, right? There was no choice. One is either you, if you are average in your studies, either you become a doctor or you become an engineer. That's it. Like, no other option. Then we are not meant like that. Now, if you ask me, like, I would have explored somewhere, going to Australia and all.
It is time for lunch. Let's see what they got. Great. Sure.
Samba.
Samba?
Samba.
Veg?
Vegan, vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
With no
You're
milk.
vegetarian, right?
Vegan, no milk or
Vegan,
cheese.
no meat,
It was on the
No ghee in these?
no ghee, no milk.
These are all vegan items. There is no milk in this.
This
There's
one.
no ghee.
No. These are all
Okay.
vegetarian, pure vegetarian.
Okay.
അവര്
പാൽ
പാല് മാത്രമല്ല കുടിക്കാത്തത്
അല്ല മോര് പാലിന്റെ ഐറ്റം അല്ലേ
അത് ഇത്
പനീർ അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒക്കെ കഴിക്കും
അങ്ങനൊന്നും
പാൽ ഉൽപ്പന്നങ്ങൾ അല്ലേ all
Paneer?
milk items.
Yeah, oh yeah.
കുഞ്ഞ്
Huh? Yeah, oh yeah. Where else would we go?
ഞാൻ കുഞ്ഞിനെ കൊണ്ടുവരാറ്
So we got some sambar, some long beans, some cabbage, some rice, and papa. Better than expected. The long beans have a kind of 5-spice flavor to them, heavy on the cinnamon and clove. Interesting, nice. I'm on a boat. It's nice and relaxing. There's literally almost nothing to do on here except just kind of hang out. No amenities to speak of, but it's still cool. Nice scenery. We're not being told sort of where we are or anything like that. I have not a clue, but it's nice. Hopefully this music doesn't get a copyright strike, but that's what we're looking at. An ice cream parlor. Some palms, a little walkway. Singing my own song over top so it doesn't get copyright struck. Singing my own song over top so they can never find it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Checking out if
Natalia checking what they got.
Yeah.
What do they got?
I don't know, they have some wine, but I don't know if they have any beer.
How's that barefoot decision feeling now? Can you walk on that okay? You sure? Good job, Natalia. Good job. You did it. So, I don't know where we are. Islands in the stream. Something like that. So our boat has parked for the night after a few hours drive, a couple hours drive, slowly through the backwaters. It was nice. There's nothing to do on the boat really, and they don't seem to have anything totally planned. But here are some abandoned boats. Can you show any?
I'm doing my best.
Yeah. There's a little wading bird over there. Don't know how much. Maybe I can punch this up in post.
I don't have my good flashlight on me.
Let's blare it toward it. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
It's raining.
So,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody from the future, which is now the past when I post this, but you get what I mean. That's very Indian style. Fireworks erupting everywhere. Leaving the boat. It's 8:30 a.m. We just had breakfast, which was a basic chickpea stew, a couple of dosa / uttapam type of things, and some bread and jam. This is the cabin as we sign out. Had a decent sleep. Not too bad. I got a debrief video once we go outside. We're done now on the boat. The basic synopsis of what happened was we boarded a couple hours later than they said we might. We had a couple of simple meals, a lunch of a stew, some rice, a little bit of salad. We had a dinner that was some stew, some rice, a bit of roti. I was a little under the weather, so I didn't eat much, but very basic. The ride itself, the event itself cost about 225 Canadian dollars, which is a massive expense in India for something to cost that much, but it was New Year's Eve, so that is why, I guess. The crew was very nice. The food was adequate, was fine. But there was very little fanfare about it being New Year's Eve. There wasn't really any amenity or any sort of party. There was an additional $35 you could spend, or 40 bucks, to go to the Ramada's DJ party. So they stopped after cruising for about 2 hours, slowly, real slowly. We stopped about 500 meters from where we last were staying. Saw a little bit of the open water. Totally fine. And then sort of parked at a mooring at the edge of a residential neighborhood across a canal. Took a little walk to a corner store, and then had the option, like I said, of going to that Ramada party. But it wasn't really our scene, so we stayed on the boat. I took a tiny bit of medication for my unsettled stomach, and I fell asleep till about 11:30 in time to do the countdown and stuff like that, but nothing was happening on the boat. The crew was sleeping for the most part, and it was just kind of an empty boat. So I would have thought maybe for the new year there would have been some sort of basic function, but the boat itself was very simple. 4 rooms on the bottom, 3 rooms on top, and a dining hall with like a Bluetooth speaker in it. So not terrible, but certainly for the price I would have expected some sort of more value in some way. This is kind of the thing when you travel and you take boat rides in places that are known for their houseboat rides or their cruise ship rides. It's a risk, and often the value isn't quite there like you'd expect in the rest of the country. Certainly in Canada, $200 for a boat ride would be a reasonable rate. You know, that wouldn't be too bad a price. But here it's really, really expensive. The boat was fairly basic, although, you know, nice and fine enough, just not the New Year's fanfare. There was no real celebration or no real there was no real mood, but the crew was very nice. The food was tasty enough, basic for the price, I think, quite basic. Probably a meal that you would get for about 150 rupees in the village, and yeah, very little offered other than just a boat ride, a couple meals. They had also offered a welcome drink, but we missed that somehow, I guess, or were forgotten. And the room itself was spacious enough for a boat. The shower didn't have hot water, but there was air conditioning, so that was good. Yeah, as far as it goes for value, would I recommend it? Probably not. Cautiously, maybe, if you really want to take just a brief houseboat trip and your budget is adequate, but we will have to do some other work to mitigate this this expense, because that was pretty much like a week worth of expenses in stays for us here in other places, the way we've been doing it. And I would say we were staying at a place called Pagoda, which was a decent enough hotel, a little bit more expensive as well. I think maybe $50 a night or $40 a night Canadian, and we've been trying to end up at around $20 to $30 a night Canadian. But this part of the region is a little bit more expensive. Kerala has a bit more tax and a lot more amenities via their medical system and everything else, so things here are a little bit more. But yeah, I would have thought that there would be a little bit more fanfare. They did accommodate the vegan stuff well enough, just by omission. And yeah, what can I say? I probably wouldn't recommend it. I would have stayed maybe just another night at the hotel and just kept walking around and not shifted. But it wasn't terrible either. We had this kind of happen in Vietnam, where we were promised like a cruise that was filled with amenities, filled with events like a cave tour, kayaking, tours of villages, a floating fishing village, special water sports, etc. And so we booked a 2-night cruise via the website called Agoda. And so when we did the cruise, it was 2 nights, but basically it was 1 day with 3 activities: a cave, a little walk up T-Top Island, and then also like a kayaking, or we could visit a pearl farm, which didn't interest us because the vegan thing, I guess. So the thing that was weird about it is the very next day the program was the same, whereas the cruise that we bought off of the booking site listed a 2-day program with lots of different stuff. The food on that cruise was also pretty bad in Ha Long Bay. They didn't really, despite confirming ahead of time that vegan was possible. We don't just go in there and drop the vegan thing on them and say, yo, you've got to make us vegan. We ask if it's possible well in advance. And they agreed. And then when we got there, it was really, really bad. So, and then the next day, all it was the same program again. So we were kind of just stuck on a cruise where we were repeating the day before the exact same route. And also that boat just kind of did the same thing. As much as they can possibly limit the amount of traveling they do, you know, you get 3 hours, you go and you anchor somewhere in the middle of a place, and then a smaller boat comes along and maybe takes you somewhere else, so a little farther away. This was the same sort of thing. The boat never went more than about an hour and a half, 2 hours from the harbor. We didn't get a good look at Ha Long Bay. So in this case, this boat, we got a little bit of a better look at Alleppey backwaters, but didn't go far, and it kind of just made a small U-shaped loop. So we ended up pretty much back at the beginning last night, which, whatever, that's fine. They can do what they got to do to limit the wear and tear on the boat. But it's always a little bit overpromised and under-delivered. That's kind of what I find. So do you find that? Have you been on various boat cruises, places? What do you think? Is there a particularly good value somewhere that you've found? Tell me about it in the comments, and not just like in that YouTube way where I try to get you to engage, but actually I'm wondering, is this the usual thing with cruises in places? Do you just kind of go out for an hour and a half and they do it real slow so that it takes a long time, and then just kind of putter back to the mooring? Or have you found a place where you really get a beautiful boat tour with great food for a good value? Let me know. I'm super interested. And what did you think of this boat trip that we took? Is this about the usual for this area, if you've experienced it as well? Or did we get a little bit ripped off? Let me know. Thanks for watching. For Vegan Everywhere, I'm David.